Hi, this is Indranil and you are watching Business Bites in our channel The Spotlight, India's first online business news channel. Business Bites, first news we have Chinese fast fashion major Shein renegotiating global sourcing partnership with Reliance Retail. Second news we have India identifies 10 sectors to capitalize on exports of products where it has upper hand over US tariff. Third news we have Sanofi to sell their flagship insulin brand Lantus to Indian pharma major at 2000 crore. Fourth news we have new age tech and AI sector to get 10,000 crore startup fund. And fifth news we have ice cream brand Noto and Moom Health raised fund. In first news, Chinese fast fashion major Shein renegotiating global sourcing partnership with Reliance Retail. Reliance Retail and Shein partnership was to establish India as a manufacturing hub for Shein's global operations, where with the Chinese government dissuading manufacturers from leaving the country after the new US tariffs were announced. And because of that, the original arrangement is being discussed and revised again amid the diplomatic tangle and may pare down Shein's global sourcing plans from Reliance. The Donald Trump administration has imposed a steep 145% tariff on Chinese-made goods, which is prompting fears in China that their manufacturers may shift production to countries which are facing lower tariffs like India. The partnership between Reliance Retail and Shein aimed to go beyond retail when the arrangement included developing an export platform from Indian MSMEs engaged in garments and textile manufacturing. Shein also committed to sharing technology and expertise with Reliance to integrate around 25,000 MSMEs to set up a parallel global supply chain from India. Reliance Retail Ventures had signed a technology agreement with Roget Business to develop an indigenous e-commerce retail platform that would create a network of local manufacturers and suppliers to manufacture and sell products under the brand name Shein. In second news, India identifies 10 sectors to capitalize on exports of products where it has upper hand over US tariff. India has identified at least 10 sectors which include apparel and clothing accessories, chemicals, plastic and rubber, where high US tariffs giving India a competitive advantage in the American market over other suppliers. And the idea is to capitalize on the advantage in these sectors, which also include vehicles other than railways, mineral fuel and pharmaceuticals in the coming months to compensate for the loss in categories impacted by high tariffs. While India faces a 10% baseline tariff after the US suspended the 26% reciprocal duties for 90 days when the levy remains at 145% on China, who is the biggest exporter to the US. Before the new tariff, China's share of US apparel imports at 25% compared to India, which is just 3.8%, and that is giving a huge opportunity for India with the high tariff differential. The US imports about $120 billion in textile and apparel annually when there are about 175 tariff lines or product categories including toys, essential oils, confectionery, footwear and leather products, where India is now much more competitive than China and now in a position to grab more market share. In third news, Sanofi to sell their flagship insulin brand Lantus to Indian pharma major at 2000 crore. Sanofi India has started the process of selling their flagship insulin brand Lantus with India's major pharmaceutical companies like Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, Glenmark and Emcure Pharma, where the French pharmaceutical giant Sanofi has set a minimum price of 2000 crore, and that is a sharp reduction from their initial asking price of about 3000 crore. Lantus has built a strong reputation over a period of time as it is prescribed extensively to diabetes patients, and that makes it the market leader for about 2 decades, and it remains a key revenue contributor for Sanofi in India. India's pharmaceutical market is expanding rapidly, which is driven by over 100 million diabetes patients, and for Sanofi, the decision to sell Lantus could be part of a broad strategy to focus on bringing their patented drugs to India and growing Opella, which is their consumer healthcare business. Part of a category known as insulin glargine, Lantus has a unique positioning due to its long-acting effect, which only requires one shot in a day, and this gives it an edge over other old insulin types that are needed before meals or twice during the day. Among Indian drugs, Lantus' rival is Basalog, which is a brand Eris Pharma acquired last year as part of a broader deal with Biocon Biologics. In fourth news, new age tech and AI sector to get 10,000 crore startup fund. The Commerce and Industry Ministry of India will allocate a major part of the second 10,000 crore fund of funds scheme for startups to budding entrepreneurs in sectors like new age technology, artificial intelligence, and machine building. As per the government's eligibility conditions, entities are recognized as startups under the Startup India initiative by the department, where so far over 150,000 entities have been recognized as startup across more than 55 industries, when these units are eligible to avail tax and non-tax incentives under the Startup India Action Plan. In the budget, the government announced a new FFS, that is Fund of Funds scheme, which is a corpus of 10,000 crore when a similar kind of scheme launched in 2016, which was set up to catalyze venture capital investments and is operationalized by SIDBI, which provides capital to Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI registered AIFs, which in turn invest in startups. SIDBI is expected to manage the second scheme also, with an intent to build a strong ecosystem of the country for nurturing innovation and prompting startups, when the government launched the Startup India initiative on 16th January 2016. And in fifth news, ice cream brand Noto and Moom Health raised fund. Actor John Abraham-backed ice cream brand Noto has raised 21 crore in a funding round. The Mumbai-based company Noto was founded in 2019 by Varun Seth and Ashni Shah, where the ice cream brand operates in the guilt-free dessert segment with a range of low-calorie, sugar-free and vegan ice creams and desserts. The company will be utilizing the latest fund to introduce new product lines and bolster their omnichannel distribution strategy with the launch of their own ice cream parlors. On the other side, Wipro Consumer Care Ventures, which is the venture funding arm of Wipro Consumer Care and Lighting, has led a pre-Series A funding round of $3.5 million in Singapore-based Moom Health, which is a health supplement brand for Asian women. The startup Moom Health is working with a mission to create natural remedies for the modern Asian women in the form of holistic, expert-backed supplements. The company gives natural guidance, expert-backed formulations, and personalized care. So these were the top 5 business newses from Business Bytes, and requesting you to subscribe the channel so that you can have all the updates from our end. And thank you very much for watching Business Bytes, and signing it off.